So there are huge benefits in solidarity. In fact, solidarity is a power. Solidarity is a healing power, in fact. Because as struggles get waged at all levels, there is a lot of loss that occurs. There is a lot of hopelessness that happens. There is a lot of disintegration of energy and connectedness, and therefore a deliberate effort to bring in support, to bring in spaces where people get to be heard and they get to be re-energized, their ideas get to be refreshed, they get to be more creative because of the regeneration which comes from not standing alone. Sometimes it does feel like that because struggle is not a sprint. It actually is something that is a marathon. And Kumi Naidu has been, who is my partner, of course, has been using these words in very, very meaningful ways for over a long time. This marathon that we have to be focused on through thick and thin needs solidarity. It's not possible for entities to do it on their own. And that's why when we take stock of progress, we do fall short. Over decades of struggle, lots of resources being put into these struggles, we realize that the impacts have not been great. We've not been able to capture the minds and hearts of the majority of humanity with these struggles, which are meant to be struggles for good. And they are supposed to make sense because they are supposed to bring the majority of humanity out of these tyrannically located places of inequality, of poverty, of alienation, of discrimination, of separatedness into those spaces of being connected, being dominated by a sense of belonging, where love is a practice. It's there, it's reality. It's not just a feeling. It's how we are in society. It's how we do in society. So solidarity is critically important. Without playing down what is maybe even conventionally regarded as art, I do want to reference a meme that I saw some months back, where a young child somewhere in South Asia is in animated form saying, everything is art. Everything is art. You are art. Soccer is art. Work is art. Agriculture is art. Everything is art. Creating anything is art. And I found so much truth in that. And yet, that's not how we see life. That's not how we live life. And yet, it doesn't matter what the story of life is that you and I believe in, whether it's a story of evolution, of creation, it doesn't matter. There is a common connection which is about humans create. Just the mind on its own is a process of creating. So we create everything, we create. And that's exactly how we could see each other and how we could see ourselves, we could see our participation on earth, and how we allow then ourselves to bring our whole being, not just their brains, not just the parts that we have learned to deal with at school and experienced in work and so on, but the whole of ourselves, how we are moved by the senses, which we may not feel, we may not be physical, but how we are moved by our interaction with a whole lot of sensory experiences. And the arts, therefore, arts and culture, fall in that realm, which touches us. You may not get across through saying things in so many words, but there's a greater chance that you will get across in presenting it in an artistic form. It will touch something in someone else. And that's why it becomes so important for arts and culture to be part of the centering of the messages that we need to communicate to ourselves as humanity. Part of the centering of the purpose that at various times we will be identifying as purpose that we want to surface. Part of shifting cultures, mass culture shift, comes from these spaces that are creative spaces, arts and culture. That's where you find there is a whole lot of different people identifying with particular cultural identities through mass culture, which is found in arts, which is impacted by arts. So yeah, it is artivsm, therefore, is a intersection of arts and culture and change, social change. And some will say intersection of arts and culture and activism, but using that word activism not in a constricted, narrow sense of people doing things according to roles in certain institutions and certain organized formations, but that ability to identify what society needs and being moved to engage with that and therefore be activist in that sense.